Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. And we are back recapping the X-Files. Dennis, how's it going down in San Diego?
I'm not live. I'm semi-live.
You're semi-live
in San Diego. I don't know, man. After that episode, I don't know what to think. Tell you the truth.
It was an interesting episode. I'm not going to say I guess I could say the episode title. I thought it was going to be something clever. Maybe that spells something out, but it's capital R, lowercase m, 9, lowercase sb, uppercase G, 93, uppercase Z, X, J, lowercase z. I don't know if any of you out there know what that means. Rock on. Put it in the comments. But
I think it means I want my $2.
Right? $2. So
and for those of you kids out there who don't know what that is, rent Better Off Dead or find it on YouTube or something like that, and you can watch it or ask your mom.
Ask your mom. That's the best way. All right. So yeah, tonight's episode was weird, and it started out with a Twitter bot. It started out very promising, actually. That first couple minutes was really cool, a little preachy, but cool. And it was a Twitter bot, artificial intelligence Twitter bot that was learning too much, and they told the story of this bot, and they had to turn it off. And you're like, cool. So I guess we're going to see like this artificial intelligence or something. And the episode has nothing to do with it.
No.
Other than the Twitter bot maybe went to a sushi restaurant and took it over. I don't know. So episode starts out with Mulder and Scully.
You know what it had to do with it, actually? It had to do with the whole thing about, what we teach AI. That we have to look. That was all it was. It was just the preachy, we need to.
Yeah, we were going to get to that.
Yeah, sorry.
The song.
Yeah,
we were gonna get to so they start off in a sushi bar, which is fully automated, and so I'm thinking, all right, it's gonna be a silent episode. They're not talking to each other. They're sitting there picking out the menu. It's kind of a cute scene. They're picking out some food. Nobody else is in this restaurant, and they order some food. And what the hell was that fish Mulder ordered?
It was a blobfish.
The blobfish. Okay.
Blob.
With the weird face. Yeah. Was it blop? Blop?
Blob. B-L-O-B.
Blobfish. Okay.
Yes.
So, that's a weird looking fish. So they're going to eat some sushi, which I find grotesque. I can't stand that stuff. My wife loves it, but
I love sushi.
I hate seafood. And Mulder gets the blobfish and doesn't want it, so they're going to take off. Of course, at this point, they have not spoken a word yet. We're about 5 minutes in the episode, and the restaurant eats Mulder's card. So they decide to leave. Well, no, then the restaurant.
He starts banging on the table trying to get his card out, and it says, "Don't hit the machine." And he keeps doing it, and that's when all the lights start flickering on and off, and then you hear the door going, "Door locked, door locked, door locked." And they're trying to force their way out. And finally, Dana gets a chopstick and goes and pops open the door and gets them out. And the weird thing is, they turn around to go back to go get his card, and the doors have closed and have locked at this point. And he's just kind of looking at his card stuck in the counter, and kind of decides to leave it there. Which, of course, you would do that if everything's kind of freaking out in this, mechanized restaurant. Yeah, remember, when he went back, he'd actually taken the plate back behind in the kitchen, and went to go return it because that wasn't what he ordered. He ordered some he ordered sashimi and what else? Like some eel, and that was. And the last thing was, I don't even know if he ordered the blobfish because that didn't look like. I didn't see what the last thing was because it was really quick. So he might have accidentally hit the blobfish, but he went back there to go and return it, And all the robots, all you see is robots back there that are making meals, and they stop and turn and look at him, or turn their sensors at him.
Yeah.
And he kind of freaks out and goes back inside. It's like, okay, that's it. And he doesn't tip. That was the whole thing. That was the reason why his card got stuck in there, because he didn't tip.
Yes. I'm sorry to say this in the middle of the podcast, but Dennis, you can hear me okay? Hear me on my mic?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Yes.
You can hear me on my mic. How about you out in the chat? Can you hear me on my mic? I'm getting this weird feedback right now. So we're actually, maybe it's the AI taking it out on me. I don't know.
I did have something weird when I started my computer. It was telling me all these applications weren't working, like, on my Google Chrome, and I just restarted it, and it was fine. So I thought it was kind of funny too, right after watching that episode, that all that stuff was kind of going weird.
Yep. And I noticed our disliker has come in and hit the every time we live stream, there is somebody who hits the dislike button every time we start. Wow.
John, is that you?
John. It's John. I knew it. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah. So we all know where this episode was going to go from here. It's going to, the restaurant stops up. Scully gets in the car, gets in her, what was it? It wasn't her their version of an Uber.
Whips,
which was a Tesla Model X, by the way. So not bad for your driverless car Uber thing, getting a Tesla Model X, little 150 grand right there.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's an expensive car, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't recognize it at first, but then the huge, touchpad in the middle and the Falcon doors they have. So it was a Model X, which are kind of badass, really. So yeah, it starts driving her home, and it's and this started reminding me of Mr. Robot, and it reminds me more of Mr. Robot as she goes home. But yeah, the car won't listen to her. It wants to play music and it wants to play TV. She's like, no, just shut up. I want to be quiet. And it races her home. And Mulder, in the meantime, is driving home, and he has to play Prince. What song was it? Controversy. And the car plays Teach the Children. What is that? Crosby, Stills and Nash?
Yeah.
Is, right? Yeah. So not my favorite.
No, not mine either.
Yeah. So far we got Sushi and Crosby, Stills and Nash. It's just not two of my favorite things. And they're playing this song, and I'm like, oh boy, here's the theme of our episode that's going to get kind of pounded over our head for the entire thing. And God, did they play the song through half the episode?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So they go their separate ways. They go home. Mulder tries to call and the credit card company, and it at this point, seeing something on a TV show where somebody's having a hard time calling a credit card company is like going to a comedy show and hearing plain jokes. Mm-hmm. It's just like stop, So at this point they have spoken some words, not much, but they've said some things.
She said Mulder, and then she's saying stop and no, and no thanks. And I thought it was kind of funny. That was one thing that was funny, was the Whip's car says you can speak in complete sentences. And I was like, yeah, maybe you actually could speak in complete sentences for the rest of this episode. That might actually help.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he gets home and he's calling the credit card company, and they focused on the bug killer for some reason, probably because it had it was a smart bug killer, and had was one of those Internet of Things, and it probably contacted the drones that the drone showed up at his house and just started buzzing him. He was watching TV. It was weird. He was watching the start of the $6 Million Man with no music.
Yeah.
I wonder if they couldn't get the rights to the theme song, but they could show the episode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they either that or he had it on mute. Because I know he watches his TV on mute for a lot of the times too.
Yes,
which is kind of a weird thing.
Oh, I do all the time. It might be an old man thing. I always have my TV on all the time with mute and closed captions, just in case I do want to hear it at some point. I don't know. I can totally identify with that. But yeah, we saw the starting of the $6 million M, but you can hear them talking in it. So you hear that like Steve Majors is in space and they're doing that countdown thing, but there's no music. I'm like, that was weird. But then the TV buzzes out and you see a camera shot of Mulder, the back of his head, watching TV, which was pretty cool. That was cool. But there was the drone outside, and he goes and he thinks it's some kid's drone, and he goes and smashes it with a bat.
Well, no, first he chases it off, and he tells the kid, all you're going to be left with the joystick is if you keep doing this. And then we cut back over to Scully, and Scully's trying to get into her house, and the alarm goes off and won't stop. And so she's trying to hit the alarm code, and it keeps saying invalid, invalid, invalid. Finally, she gets a phone call from the alarm company, and she gives the verbal command, and she has to spell it out because no one understands what queequeg is. And so she finally gets it, and of course gets charged $250 for a false alarm. And then we cut back to Dana. Actually, we cut back to Fox with the drone, and that's right. Then we cut back to Dana again, and it says she's actually going to put some red hair dye in her hair, and she's run out, so she just tosses it in the trash, and she gets an automatic message on her phone that says, "Would you like to order some more hair dye?" And she's kind of creeped out, and she's in her bathrobe, so she kind of puts her bathrobe a little bit closer around her, and that's when we cut back over to Fox, where the drone has come back again, and he goes out and kills it with a baseball bat.
Yeah, and with Scully back at her house, when her house starts freaking it out, that reminded me of what was it, season 2 of Mr. Robot, when that lawyer went in and they took over her house.
Got hacked.
Yeah, her house got hacked. The smart house. Yeah, this is all stuff we've kind of seen before. Kind of a lot. Maybe it's just on the TV shows we watch. It wasn't super groundbreaking. So you could see what was going to happen. Like all these electronic devices are starting to turn on them. She gets a vacuum cleaner delivered to her by drone, and she accepts it for some reason. Over all the weird crap that's going on tonight, it's like, oh, I'm going to take this thing from the drone. Yeah, sure. Okay, sounds good. Nothing weird is going on at all. And for one, what is she going to put red dye in that wig she's wearing? Come on, that's a wig. Everybody knows it. At this point, I was kind of enjoying the episode, and then I'm like, where are we going with this? I mean, I knew where we were going, but I'm like, that cannot be it. That cannot be it.
That was the same thing with me. I was like, okay, I know the drones want their $2, but really, is that it? That's all it is? And it just, that robot vacuum just ends up mapping her house, which I thought it was going to be more nefarious than what it did. All it did was transfer that information back over to the Whip's car, which is still sitting outside. And it's like, okay, so why did it transfer it to the car?
Yeah, I thought the car would like drive through the house or something, or try to kill her.
Yeah,
and they did try to kill her. Like Mulder, after he crushes the drone, the one cool thing is 2 other drones come in and pick up the pieces. 3 other drones come in and pick up the pieces, and they kind of glare at him, and then they take off. So he heads back, and her house is still going haywire. Yeah, that little vacuum cleaner mapped her entire house.
And finds an interesting object underneath her couch.
Yes. A little pocket massager, which I'm sure in the original script was something else.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure it was something a little more cylindrical.
Pocket massager. Yes. It's the things that make the reindeer fly.
Yeah, it is. It's at this point when you get to hear Tease the Children again. Because it's not only playing on the waiting music for Fox for the credit company, but it's also playing through the speakers like really loudly at Dana's place, because the alarm starts going haywire again, but that's all it's playing. And it starts just freaking out completely, making coffee and doing all kinds of weird stuff. And it's at this point that it asks her, what can I do to help you? Are you hot? Are you cold? Would you like a fire? And it starts a fire in the fireplace. And uh, it's at this point that it locks the doors and the fire goes out. And she's trying to get the door open. And all of a sudden we see Fox outside. And he's like, let me in. And you can barely hear her, of course, and whatever she's saying is appearing on the TV, which is right behind her. So Fox can hear everything that she's saying by reading it on the screen, which I thought it was odd that that would be happening. But,
that made no sense. And then it tries to kill her by putting out the gas. And so they finally do try to actually kill her. She gets out by busting out, her glass door. And I love did you mention that Fox like, your house is so much nicer than mine?
Yeah, he goes, why is your house so much nicer than mine?
It's obviously better with her money. And so they run away and they end up in typical climax warehouse for a TV show. And
I was expecting to see the Terminator come crawling through.
I was too at that point. And they managed to mix in a 3D printer and some more walking drones follow them, and the 3D printer makes bullets and somehow can shoot them. And
without gunpowder. I was wondering.
That was maybe they 3D printed some gunpowder. That's possible. No, it's not. I'm kidding. Okay.
And where did they get the flashlights from? Because remember, at this point, before they get into the warehouse, they find out that the drones are tracking them through their cell phones and any kind of electronic personal devices.
Yep.
And so dumping their phones, she dumps her Fitbit or her walk tracker. And then, of course, she dumps the personal massager, which Fox gives her a look like, what the? And that's when they go into the warehouse. And I want to know where they get the flashlights from, because they dumped everything and they didn't have anything in their hands, and all of a sudden they have flashlights. It was kind of, it's one of those little things.
Yes. And I at this point I just given up on this episode making sense. Like, why would they not talk to each other for 20 minutes in a sushi restaurant when it's quite like, hey, how would you like that? Something. So it just got ridiculous at this. Well, it's been ridiculous, but it got ridiculous at the end. And what could have been a fun episode ended just kind of meh. So a big robot comes in, hands him his phone, and he pays the tip, and that's it. They all
he used back. 10%. Yeah. And the thing was, it just says you got one last chance. His phone kept saying throughout this entire episode, the sushi restaurant kept coming back and go, would you like the tip? And he just keeps saying, get it away. I'm not tipping it, kind of thing. And instead of hitting the no thanks, he just kept, pushing it away, getting rid of the notification. And finally, when the big robot comes through the door and hands him his phone, he's got one last chance and it's doing a countdown from 10. And Fox just kind of looks at him. By the time it hits 1, he hits 10%. And there's like a little confetti thing that flies off on the screen. And all the machines go from red lights to green lights, because, that's how it is in the real world. My toaster does it all the time. It goes from red light to green light when it's pissed off at me.
Your smart toaster? Yeah.
Yeah, my smart toaster.
Oh, my wife does that when she's pissed off at me.
I have seen that.
She's a smart wife. Yeah. This is a weird season. Dennis and I were discussing this in our hours-long pre-production meeting before we started this podcast. And it feels like it's just one more for the road. Let's do this for us, not for the it's not even fan service. It's creator service. Let's take our paycheck and cash it and have a little fun. You said this episode was written by Glenn Morgan's wife,
Kristen Cloak, and somebody else, another woman, and I'm forgetting her name now, Shannon Hamlin. And she also has written for the X-Files before.
Yep. And there's been some pretty, to me, there's been some pretty good episodes, but nothing groundbreaking like this show used to be. And the last couple have just been, not
really
great.
Bad. Really. This one was, it was not only just preachy, but it was very heavy-handedly preachy. Like,
oh god, the ending of them sitting in a regular restaurant, and then Mulder actually saying, because we didn't get it when they were playing the song for the entire episode, saying we need to teach them well. Looking at a cell phone.
We need to teach the AI. We need to teach the computers better.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Fox Mulder and Fox Network. Thank you. I wouldn't have thought of that without you. So, yeah. What could have been a great concept, and this is something that like the old X-Files would have been ahead of the game on and would have done something really creepy with it and had a nice little Black Mirror twist when you used to call them X-Files twists, but now they're Black Mirror twists.
Yeah.
And with a Black Mirror out there and a Mr. Robot out there, it's like you're just tarnishing the X-Files name at this point. Like if you can't be a better than those shows, because you should be. You've got a major network behind you. You got a huge effing budget. And you kind of did this. This is why network TV is dead. I mean, it's I know, yeah, millions of people still watch it, but not as much as they used to. And on a creative level, it's just not even in the same league as some of the other stuff we cover. Like I watch a Counterpart and then I watch this, and and I got to lower my expectations so freaking far. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was.
And I am a fan. Okay, I'm a fan, but calling it like it is.
Yeah, this one was totally. I mean, it was also directed by Glenn Morgan, so his basically husband and wife team that did this. So she wrote it, he directed it, and she actually starred in the X-Files too, way back in the '90s. They met on Space Above and Beyond, which is another show that he did. Great show, by the way. I love that show. And that's where I know her name from because I used to watch that show. And then she was on the X-Files for one episode, and she was actually in this episode too. She played someone named Wendy, who I don't know who that was. I didn't even see her in the episode, so I don't know if she was in the diner or what happened.
Oh, wasn't she the AI bot picture?
She might have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, no, because that was supposed to be a 19-year-old.
Well, they might have de-aged her.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't look like her. So.
Yeah, I don't know what she looks like. So it's either that or the waitress.
Well, no, the waitress. Wrong.
That wasn't her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know if maybe she was cut from the episode, but I'm pretty sure she was probably the AI bot and they just de-aged her.
Yeah,
and
maybe
looked pretty digital anyway. But yeah, really nothing episode. Sorry to say, folks. Wish I could say better. If you haven't seen it and you're watching us instead, this will be one of the few times I say we might have been actually more entertaining than the show. I won't say that much, I promise. Especially with that wonky, echoey beginning we had.
It is a very mixed bag. This whole thing has just been very weird. I mean, just a really weird season for them. And I want my $2 back.
Yeah, I think that they should they need to end this. I hope they end it well. We got three episodes left? Three episodes left. Melissa, by the way, will be joining us for the finale. Okay, and I guess I can announce some fun stuff real quick before we get into our final analysis of X-Files. For one, we have crossed 1,000 subscriber. Actually, God, about 3 months ago. So we have a super chat. So in the future, if you ever want to throw us a tip in the super chat, YouTube made a really great announcement. This is one of our biggest complaints about YouTube, because we are a live streaming channel. 99% of our stuff is live streaming. That's all we do. The chat that we interact with that you guys cannot see is now going to be visible. I didn't get a date. They have not provided a date when this is going to happen, but it's supposedly going to happen within a month. That when our videos roll over, all of these wonderful chatters like Isaiah, our patron, and Ghost World, you'll be able to see their stuff. All these people we talk to on our, and we'd like to talk to you too. We'd like for you to join, whoever you may be.
That's cool. That's nice.
Yeah, I think they're going to be doing a lot of other features that are aesthetics stuff you can add to the video. I didn't care about any of that stuff. The only thing I want is I want to be able to change the thumbnail on a Google Hangout live stream, and I want the chat thing, and I want the chat thing way more. So I'm really happy. Thank you, YouTube, for doing that. I don't know how they're going to do it. I think it might be just a little box on the side of your video or something, whatever. That's cool. So that's cool. And Melissa is going to start doing the recap thing. She's got herself a co-host. We're going to have an all female recap team on the Nerdrotic channel.
Interesting. What are they recapping?
Very cool. They're going to recap shows we don't watch, like Shadowhunters.
Oh, bless them.
I could almost call it taking one for the team podcast. No, they're going to try to broaden our horizons here. And, they'll also come in with us on stuff too. And she's going to be podcasting with a young lady named Natalie. And she's the one who was asking about the microphone today in our Facebook chat. So that's going to be cool. And so we also have a Patreon. If you'd like to support us over there, we've got 3 tiers: a $1, $10, and $15 tier. With the $10 and $15 tiers, you get stuff. We have, I think, eight patrons right now. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
You can go to patreon.com/nerdrotic. And so we'll answer a few questions in the chat.
So I'm gonna scroll up here a little bit. Not too much going on. Ghost World said, "Sucks to hear this. I still want to see the episode, but yeah, X-Files to me has been fun this season, but I can see that they have to really up their standard to meet with other competition." Definitely.
Yeah, I haven't hated the season. I've liked more than I haven't, but this one was it was too long. I mean, if this was like a half-hour episode, it would have been cool.
Yeah, or if this had been a side story, one of the side stories to something else that was major, I think it would have been better.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that.
Isaiah says, haha, I actually have only seen one episode in my entire life and didn't like it. I really wanted to, but apparently it isn't for me. Isaiah, if you didn't grow up with it, honestly, this has become the X-Files. What it was has become the norm now. So yes, everything that is out now for X-Files, you've already seen. It's been incorporated into all kinds of different shows now because it influenced a lot of things. And so, yeah, you're going to be familiar with all the tropes that are out there from this show because of this show. And you're not going to find anything interesting in it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and I don't know how well the show is actually aged. I can't tell because I watched it back then, so I don't have the perspective on it that a younger person, seeing the puffy 90 pants and the hair. So I have no perspective on that. It doesn't seem like it's aged too bad, but I don't know. So it'll be one of those shows that, like, if somebody watches like a Mr. Robot or something else, going, man, I'll never forget. It's something like this. Okay, I was in the line. What was that? I overheard in a line one time that somebody was talking about some anime cartoon and how it ripped off the Matrix, and I'm no big anime fan, but I had to correct that person, going, listen, no, the Matrix actually came after the anime, much far. It was a young person at the time. This is many years ago. And that kind of situation could happen, like where people are going, oh, well, like Dennis just said, so many ideas were started with the X-Files, but so many TV shows have watered it down now that it's not special anymore. It's just that it's not, it used to be. It'll always have a special place in my heart. And by being one of the only cool shows to watch on TV, as a matter of fact, it was for the longest time the only thing I watched on TV. I know we recap a bunch of TV right now, but I used to not be the biggest TV watcher in the world. So I think it was this and Lois and Clark were the only 2 shows I watched.
Oh, man. That's expanding your horizons there.
Lois and Clark got robbed. It should have gotten one more season, man.
It really should have to finish things out. Yeah.
Yeah. They should have finished that.
Ghost World says, considering it's the last season, I'm sort of baffled that this is the choice they took with the final set of episodes. Yeah, man, we all are. It's one of those things, just like, where the hell are you going with this, and why are you doing this?
Yeah. And we've been kind of saying that, even with the stuff I liked, it's like, could you have taken some time on this? And with what a little reveal at the end, when Mulder looked at his phone, it was a text from Harry Reid, about the disclosure, the UFO, about that UFO. The New York Times back in December did an article releasing some UFO footage, some gun camera footage from a jet, and about the what they call the pill UFO. And I forgot what they called the program, but he mentioned the program in the text and said, hey, if they ask you something, you say nothing, and I had to pause it to read it. By the way, I don't know if anybody could have read that text. It was kind of funny, but that also shows you that they filmed that episode within the last month or two and probably wrote it like a week before they filmed it. They did not put they had 2 years from the last season, and they put 0 time. They put like normal TV time into it. So that part is disappointing. And I know like we get one of the criticisms, besides we do podcasts longer than actual episodes. The second one is we come off as kind of entitled, and I'll say yes. Okay. I give them my time because we are. I give them my time. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. And X-Files has, raised its own expectations in the past. So to come out with something half-assed, come on. Somebody's got to call them out on it. Why not be us? Until Fox pays us, then it will be the greatest thing ever.
Sure, exactly. Penn Farm Girl. Actually, hang on a sec. There we go. Davis 404 says, I grew up with X-Files, but the Duchovny dumping and the never resolved alien story, the series went stale for me around season 7-ish. Agreed. Yeah.
Agreed.
Once he left and they started bringing in, Agent Doggett, Ghost World even mentions Doggett and Monica, just never did anything for me, is what he says. And I agree. It was just kind of like, that lost me too, and I stopped watching the show after that. Because it was always about Fox and Mulder, or Fox and Scully, excuse me.
Well, if you ask David Duchovny, it's about Fox and Mulder all the time. No.
It is.
He wanted to go be a movie star, and he gave it a good shot, and it didn't work. He's good in TV. Yeah, that ruined it. And then coming back and having the smoking man like in a cave with long hair. That was weird, man. That was just a weird ending. That was just really weird. Yeah, it lost it. After the first movie, it kind of started. When it moved to LA, it started going downhill. When it moved out of Canada, I like the first movie a lot. It's a good episode, but I like it. And it stopped taking itself seriously. You know what I mean? It started like being like a parody of itself. And it's really kind of continued that now. And you can tell that the creators at one time actually believed in UFOs and believed in that conspiracy stuff, or they were really good at making you think they did.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, that stuff's silly and stupid. And it's like, then why do the show? You know?
Exactly. Find somebody else who can actually write the X-Files better than you can. And there's a lot of people out there that can, honestly. Penn Farm Girl says, I actually found this episode pretty funny. Haven't we all been frustrated calling a credit card company? And I like the Cyberdyne vibe at the factory. And she also says, I'm torn since it felt like it was kind of a waste of the few remaining episodes.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about it. If this was a 26 episode season, okay, fine. I would have been okay with this. Listen, the Twitter bot at the beginning was cool. That whole thing was cool, except for the graphics that showed up later, which were a little preachy. But the Twitter bot thing was cool. I would have been fine with that. Or how did this connect with the overarching plot of this episode, which it doesn't?
It was just supposed to be the same message of, you need to teach AI correctly. Otherwise, they're just going to be worse off than we are.
I'm glad they told me 5 or 7 times throughout the episode because I was forgetting.
It was only 16, that's all.
Okay. What do you have to teach?
The children well.
Oh, I thought it was your dog. Sorry. I forgot.
Exactly.
But I'm really glad to be recapping again. It feels like we haven't been on that much because we're kind of in a lull for shows right now. So I'm really glad. I was very excited to come back on. I was looking forward to this all day at work. So yeah, sometimes the episode's not that great, but at least we're here, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Ghost World says, excuse me, yeah, I still don't get that part when he gets blown up, but yet now he's back with absolutely no explanation.
Yeah, he just had some, skin graft and he's fine, Forget the fact that like he was evaporated. It wasn't just third degree burns, he was evaporated. So what the hell? It's Fox.
Vaporized. And Davis 404 had said, like Star Trek and Wars, the X-Files stories about the core characters. We all believed at age 12.
Hey, some of us still believe, okay?
Some of us still do, yes.
12 times freaking 5 almost. And Ghost World says, LOL, just do more spontaneous random live streams. Oh, I will. I will.
You don't need, honestly, what we need to do is make him a little tinfoil hat and have him just sit there and
make one. I got a closet full of them, bro.
Well, I know you have some on the ceiling.
I was waiting for the right moment. Okay.
The moment is now. Strike while the iron is hot.
Oh, yes. The reason I created the channel was to warn you all. No. Jesus.
Oh, man. I think on that note.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. And by the way, the Monday thing, well, it's not spontaneous if you schedule it, but so what are we calling it now? The Monday Nooner Delight.
I believe that is what it's called. Monday Nooner Delight.
Yeah. We'll return. Yeah, that was interesting. I actually did it just to test a camera and to see how many people would watch during the day, and I was pretty shocked. I was expecting it to be 0, so I was like, It's funny is like I actually wrote stuff out and I only got to like a third of it, and I'm like, what the fuck did I talk about? I don't even remember.
I don't know. I started fast forwarding through, so I'm like, okay, I've heard this. Yeah, I've heard this.
Oh, you've heard it all, man.
I've heard this before. And
I'm like, you see this, folks? My partner fast forwards. I get no respect here. It's all right.
It just I fast forwarded about half an hour, and you're still talking about the same thing, and I'm like, he's still on this?
It was important. Okay, Jesus. Plus, you were there for some of it, so
I was, yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
Next Monday, dentist stories. 100% dentist stories. He'll be at work and won't be able to defend himself.
That's okay. You're just gonna hear boring.
Always taught me, always kick a man when he's down. Okay, so there we go. All right, we're gonna end this one, but I am gonna be back on a live stream tomorrow night.
He's threatening.
I'm threatening you. I will be back. You might need a restraining order. I will be guesting on a channel, Comix Division. I will link it in the description here. You can just search it, and it's Comix spelled with an X. Fair warning, this is out of our wheelhouse. This is comic book criticism and debate. That's his deal. And we're internet friends. He's a good guy. And he's going to be doing a live stream with myself and just a Twitter handle. I don't know her real name is Feisty Fan, and she is the manager of a comic shop. And we are going to be talking the state of comic retailing, kind of like comic book retailer secrets. And Feisty Fan will kind of tell it from the last 3 years perspective, and I'll be the old school perspective, I suppose. And Comix Division is going to guide it. It's on his channel, and he was gracious enough to invite me, and I said yes. So that is tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Then we're back here on the Nerdrog channel at 8 o'clock Pacific for Friday night, the live podcast that is not named yet, and throw us some names. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. And we'll talk about whatever. And hopefully I'm hoping they do that chat rollover thing soon. where they show the chat. I don't know if any of you guys were here when I said that earlier, but your chats are going to start showing up when this rolls over into a video. YouTube announced that day before yesterday. So it'll be cool. We'll be able to see what Isaiah and Ghost World and David say. You'll be able to see it now. Yeah, check your spelling. I say that for myself more than anybody else, to be honest with you. Yeah. So Dennis, any final words on this amazing X-Files episode?
I just know that I need to teach the children well.
Oh,
that was what I got out of it. I don't know what you got out of it.
If I never see sushi or hear Crosby, Stills, and Nash again, that will be too soon.
Yeah, I don't need to see this episode ever again either. So,
yeah, no thanks. So I'm sorry. Apologies to X-Files fan. We don't mean to bag. We are X-Files fans. I am an X-Files fan.
Yeah.
So I look forward to the next episode. It looks kind of fun. I like the creepy looking mask dude or whatever with the big smile. But again, this has been in a season of good concepts, but not great execution. So hopefully they rally and we won't be letting nepotism run this show, because that's kind of what's going on right now. So.
Yeah,
because they love you. Yeah, till they're 16. Your children love you till they're 16. Then they're like,
that's actually a lot earlier than that.
You don't understand me.
It's more like 13, and then they
13. Yeah. Logan still loves me, but the clock is ticking on that one. Indigo. I mean, sometimes he calls me Dad. Sometimes he calls me Gary. So I could tell when he's mad at me.
Oh man.
Whatever, I'll kick his ass. Parenting skills by Gary on the Nerdrotic channel. Yeah. Wow. So and hatred. Yeah, right. Davis. Sorry, Davis. I can't see. I can't read, much less spell.
Davis 404. Yes.
404. The glasses, they're not big enough, believe it or not. All right, so we're gonna sign off
that.
So I'll see you on Comix Division's channel on tomorrow night. If you want to join us, follow us over there. If not, we'll see you Friday. Dennis,
exactly. Children of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao, baby.
Good night, everyone.